CalPERS, the largest public pension fund in the United States, plan to vote against Exxon Mobil's board of directors and CEO Darren Woods at the company's annual shareholder meeting today. At issue, Exxon's lawsuit against two activist groups, which led them to withdraw proposals for the oil gas giant to reduce emissions. But Exxon still suing them anyway. And that's what this is all about. Joining us right now, first on CNBC, is CalPERS CEO Marcie Frost. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is that a decent explanation?
It was a great explanation.
So why don't you explain your position here as it relates to these activists, which did withdraw their position.
They did.
But Exxon has a view, and we'll read a statement from them in just a little bit, but part of their perspective is that shareholders have gone wild, and that there's almost too much democracy, too many activists proposing too many different plans, some of which they have very little stake in, and some of which they believe are political.
Yeah. So let me start with saying that we have engaged with Exxon. We've had a number of discussions with Exxon on this topic. My investor relations team talking to Exxon's investor relations team, multiple requests to drop the lawsuit. Again, I'm not certain the problem we're trying to solve or Exxon is trying to solve. They didn't use the system that is really in place through the SEC. So if they wanted a no action advisory from the SEC, they could have gone that route. They decided to take it directly to court, even, as you indicated, even after this proposal was taken back by the two activists.
Partially because I think they're trying to create some form of case law for the future.
I believe this is really about redefining ordinary business and limiting the number of proposals and limiting the topics that an owner like a CalPERS, because CalPERS is not an activist, CalPERS is an active owner. And so if you limit the ownership rights and the discussion topics with a company, we see that as a fiduciary risk.
Can we take it back just one step? This is happening because the SEC changed the rules for what can be brought for a proxy. And there were a lot of CEOs at the time who said that this was going to be a massive headache. It would take a ton of management's time to try and deal with it. There aren't very high bars for this. And in the case of these activists with Exxon, they've brought these proposals multiple times before and lost all the votes that they brought to the shareholders. I think Exxon's frustration with this is we keep having the same vote, we keep getting the same response, and yet we have to deal so much and spend so much time with it, which is why I think they want to have the courts rule on it, as Andrew suggested, to have some case law to kind of rule back on.
Well, I think the case law could expand, again, into diminishing the rights that owners have to have these discussion topics with companies like Exxon. Exxon just happens to be an oil and gas company. If this was another listed company, we'd be taking the same action. The SEC did expand a bit the topics that can be brought forward for a proxy solicitation. Those are issues that I think are material items to a portfolio like CalPERS. These are not short-term risks. CalPERS has long-dated liabilities, and so the types of topics that we would talk about with a company are going to be more in those long-dated. But I don't think that it has expanded to the point that Exxon is going to be crippled by evaluating these proposals. How do you
think about the balance, though, of what some companies would say is sort of nuisance proxy contests, the balance of trying to manage the business and providing some form of shareholder democracy?
Well, I think having the definition of a nuisance proposal, if you think about Exxon, I believe there are 12 proposals on this year's annual meeting. 12 proposals on a company that made $36 billion in profits does not seem problematic to me.
Let me read you just what Exxon says, because just in fairness for everybody here, this is what Exxon says is a statement to CNBC about this whole issue. We've engaged with CalPERS. You said you've engaged with them. They say they've engaged with CalPERS on this matter and do not understand how they can make such a poor fiduciary decision to vote against a board that has overseen the creation of industry-leading shareholder value. Far from having a chilling effect on shareholder proposals, our efforts are intended to get clarity on the rules to foster an environment for open and meaningful shareholder dialogue. If anything, CalPERS' vote against our entire board appears to be an attempt to chill shareholder voices.
So the boards of these companies have a responsibility to represent the shareholders, and we believe that they've failed in this case by allowing this litigation to move forward. I think that, Exxon is entitled to their opinion, and Mr. Woods and I have had a very lengthy conversation. He heard me out, I heard him out. We didn't reach agreement at the end of that call, and he's proceeding with the litigation, and we're proceeding with saying how problematic we think this could be in that redefinition of ordinary business.
Have you talked to other shareholders about this that are going to vote with you?
We have issued the SEC exempt solicitation. We're actually following the process that's been put before us. I think New York, Glass Lewis is not a fund manager, but it's a proxy service. They have indicated that they would be voting or advising a vote against at least the independent director, perhaps the CEO. New York has come out and said they're voting against a portion of the board. But again, it's not around, this is an oil and gas company. This is about...
changes behavior, or it's symbolic? Because what happens, by the way, as you know, when something like this happens, the inherent human reaction for a board like this is to be defensive. They say, these people, they're trying to screw us. They don't say, okay, let me think about whether I'm right or wrong here, and maybe be really introspective about whether you go, especially when it's public like this. And so the question is, when you pursue something like this, what are you hoping to get in the end?
Yeah, I hope they listen. I hope that they see this as a governance issue. And remember, these proposals are non-binding. The company does not have to implement the proposals that are coming from the shareholders. There is not currently another slate of directors being run against the current board. So it's really about making sure that they understand how the owners of that company feel about pursuing this litigation. And I think that has been understood.
Just to take a step back, I mean, you're in a similar situation where you are representing the pensioners in California. Do you guys regularly take votes to see what they would like to see done with their money, just to extend the democracy?
So we have very open meetings at CalPERS where we have a number of stakeholders coming forward and expressing their viewpoints on a number of topics, including how we should vote on companies in their annual meetings. So, yes, we have a
And what have they said about Exxon, what they want?
It is, I would say it's mixed, but I think there's a lot of confusion about our vote. A lot of our members thought we were divesting from Exxon. That is not the case. We are fully invested in Exxon to the tune of about $1 billion. This has nothing to do with divestment or investment. It is fiduciary duty. That is one place that we agree. This is a fiduciary duty issue. Lack of access to a company for us to understand risk is a fiduciary issue.
I want to switch a couple gears. One is, and I don't know if you can comment on it yet, which is we keep talking about what's going to be the next big controversial vote, the Elon Musk pay package. You have a stake in Tesla. What do you think?
So that is one of the proxy proposals that we will take a serious look at. The team is evaluating it. But as of today, minus the conversation that is yet to happen with Tesla, we would not be voting in favor of that proposal. We do not believe that the compensation is commensurate with the performance of the company.
Did you vote for it in 2018?
I believe we did vote for it in 2018.
Okay,
but this is about long-term value creation.
Hold on.
Okay.
But do you believe you were duped in 2018?
No. I believe we used the information we had available and made the best choice.
Okay, so here's what I find so interesting about this particular choice. 73%, I believe, of the shareholders voted in favor of it in 2018. A judge has said that shareholders were not informed properly.
Right.
If you talk to most shareholders, by the way, especially big shareholders, they say we were not duped. We understood completely what we were doing, and we were on board with this. Now that this opportunity has arrived on your doorstep, to actually rethink this, if you will. There's a view that, maybe we're not getting the value we thought we should. You thought you should get it, but he's worked, by the way, under the assumption that he was hitting the numbers and dealing with the contract. If I told you that you were being paid a certain amount of money in 2018, and then I called you and said, actually, you know what, we're not going to give you that money anymore, what would you do?
Great question. I would go to my board. I would talk with my board. If this was truly a commitment that was made to Mr. Musk by his board, then they should follow through on that commitment. But for us,
how can they follow through if
they're non-binding proposals? So they could follow through. They have a choice to follow through on this proposal.
So you believe that the board could still pay Elon Musk?
I believe the board, minus the court issue. So I'm not factoring in the court issue on this. But for us, the reason we do the say on pay is that the company, long-term value creation of that company cannot be a spike in performance, because we've seen spikes in performance at Tesla. This is about long-term value creation. And so if the board is supportive, and again, I'm not factoring in this court issue, most of these proposals are non-binding, and the court or the board could make a decision to go ahead and pay.